Today, let's talk about a new worry Walter has been dealing with. Here's how it started. Yesterday after school, Walter saw some classmates playing soccer on the field and wanted to join, but they turned him down. It might seem like a small thing to some, but it made Walter feel embarrassed, even a bit sad. I asked him what went through your mind when you felt sad. Walter said, I felt like I wasn't welcome, that my classmates didn't like me. It made me feel ashamed. So to avoid feeling like this way again, I decided I would never ask if I can play soccer with them again. Some might still think this is a minor issue, just a moment of temporary frustration. But I want to tell both Walter and you that feeling like this deserves attention. Without guidance, they can easily lead teenagers down a path of pessimism and even depression. In a previous video, I talked about Martin Seligman, known as the father of positive psychology from the University of Pennsylvania. In one of his lectures, he shared a similar example. He described a 12-year-old girl who enters the cafeteria and noticed all her friends sitting somewhere else without inviting her over. She thinks, no one likes me. I'm a loser. If you are seeing my other video, you may recognize that this girl's reaction is rooted in what called catastrophic thinking, where her pessimistic imagination is jumping to conclusions. Seligman even coined a vivid term for this, mind reading, because one incident you start guessing other intentions, and this negative assumption lead you to a self-defeating judgment. Notice what Walter said. I will never ask if I can join again. According to Seligman's research, teenagers, even adults, often respond to setbacks with thoughts that are permanent, while spirit and self-blaming. To illustrate this, let's look at a common example. Imagine parents taking kids to an amusement park on a busy weekend. Finding a parking spot takes forever due to crowded. If mom says, every time we go out there are so many people, it's never fun. Notice every time and never. This is permanent way of thinking, treating a single event as a rule. If dad responds, it's all your fault for taking so long to get ready. You always have to put on makeup. That's self-blame where he placed the blame on her actions. These are pessimistic way of thinking that can easily lead to frustration. Now, let's look at what are thoughts with this in psychology. Without confirming it, he assumes he's unwelcome. This is mind reading. Then he thinks he will always be disliked. That's permanent thinking. And he blames himself. That's internal self-blame. Because of all these pessimistic thoughts, he feels ashamed and frustrated. American social psychologist Leon Festinger once said, 10% of life is what happens to you, 90% is how you respond. For Walter and the girl in the example, Sangam's advice is to help teenagers question their catastrophic thoughts, otherwise they might fall into self-doubt or even depression. Here's how I talk to Walter. Isn't it possible they turn you down because the team would be uneven if you joined? If the game was competitive, maybe they just want to pick the best players. Walter replied, that's just your guess. I said, true, it is a guess, but so is your pessimistic thinking. Do you ever try to confirm it? If my guess turned out to be right, would you still feel bad? Walter replied, if that's true, then I wouldn't be sad at all. I'd happily cheer them on. This change in Walter's thinking showed that just shifting your perspective can lead to completely different results. Beyond changing our thinking, it's also important to accept ourselves. Everyone has unique qualities. You don't need to change who you are to fit in. Believe that you are valuable and be proud of your uniqueness. If you feel down because don't feel accepted, try these two approaches. And if you have other worries, feel free to leave a comment. As someone your age, I will try my best to help you. And don't forget to subscribe. Now thoughts of young Walter. Lastly, do you often struggle with mind reading? If so, comment yes below. I'm Sky, and I look forward to seeing you in the next time.